Hello, Flickering Myth family, and welcome to my chocolate factory. Oh, that sounds bad. Anyways, hi guys, welcome to our channel. My name is EJ, and we have a new movie review for you all today. We are going to be diving into the Winter Holiday Spectacular musical. That's not spectacular, it's not a great musical, and boy, I have lots of feelings about this movie. Alright, let's talk about the new film, Wonka. So there is two types of reviews that people get to do. There is that social media review where you kind of do a quick reaction, and then we do our proper reviews as critics. So when that kind of social media embargo lifted for Wonka, I was very confused when I was in the minority of people who don't like this movie. Do I think this movie is an outright terrible piece of poop? No, it's not that bad, but also it's not great. It stuns me that people are kind of really praising this because I found the musical numbers to be lackluster. I found everyone but our central character to be in a movie that I did not expect, and also I just don't think that this type of child-friendly family film really connects with me personally, so we're going to kind of dive into each one of those parts. We're going to go into the musical aspect. We'll talk about Timothee Chalamet playing Wonka and how I feel that he does in this role compared to the other characters in this movie, and then we'll dive into family films and maybe movies by the guy who made Paddington might not be for me. So that is it for my kind of quick intro of this review. There was a lot to dive into. This movie, it was stunning in so many ways that I did not expect. And the one that stunned me the most is, my goodness, I have not seen a musical that is this weird, this WTF, this, oh, we're really doing that, since Cats. Yes, Wonka to me is this year's Cats. Take that as you will. I gave Cats a positive score on Rotten Tomatoes. I won't be doing that for this one, but at least Cats was bizarre and crazy and made me feel things. Wonka just made me feel more meh than anything else. Warner Brothers Discovery is in quite the interesting spot this holiday season. They have two very big budgeted musicals on the way, and boy do I think one is far better than the other. Color Purple I actually think is a pretty well made movie, where Wonka, the musical aspect of this, what are we doing? What's going on? Some of the songs are just cringe-worthy and not in the fun, oh my god, what am I doing? Skimble Shanks the Railroad Cat. This is just like, we're doing a song about elephants now. Now we're doing a scrub-dub-a-dub song. This felt so juvenile. And I think that's what kills me. We'll talk about it in the family film section, but this movie just doesn't know who it's made for. This seems like it wants to appeal to the whole family, but the way the songs go, some of the things that fall out, it just feels so kiddish. And I think that's, again, it's a Wonka movie. I know it's definitely made for a younger audience, but my brain would turn off as soon as they would start singing. I wasn't engaged. Do I think Timothée Chalamet has a good voice? Yeah, a couple of the other people were decent singers, and I could actually hear the sound mixing. It's the thing, I hate about movies like La La Land and things like that, where I'm like, I hear everyone, but they all sing like that, sound like this, where I'm like, ooh, I heard words. There was enunciation. There was better, like, sound mixing and, production sound stuff that I was like, okay, this sounds good, but I hate the songs. I don't like the musical aspect of it. I find the Broadway-ness to be more distracting than it is help for the movie. A lot of the musical stuff, it just felt like it could have been a bit more polished. And I like what they were attempting to do. Like, again, musicals kind of work for me. I think Timothée Chalamet is definitely a charismatic Wonka, and he carries his musical numbers. But a lot of them, I'm just like, oh, this is still going on. Oh, we're still just having extra people add in stuff. It's just such a cheesy, kind of cheap feeling musical and not as bombastic or as heartfelt as you would want. I wanted bigger and bolder and more hard-hitting songs. But again, when we're talking about cleaning and, the Oompa Loompa song that we deal with, all of those things, I'm like, oh, that's it? Like, I just don't understand. Maybe I don't like the songwriters. Maybe they could have had a better song team behind it. I'm glad it's not like Lin-Manuel Miranda throwing in one of his songs. That would have been even worse. But at the same time, I would have felt like I could have got more character from somebody like that making a song. It just feels like whoever worked on the music for this movie just wasn't prepared to handle Wonka, or wasn't really built to transfer the songs here to a bigger thing. Because I don't find myself wanting to listen to any of these songs again. Where something like The Color Purple, I would listen to songs from that movie often. Like it's really nice, and those songs feel like they have a little bit more personality and a little bit more interchangeableness to it, where these just all kind of sound the same. I think they all kind of ran into each other. I just wasn't engaged by anything that was being sung at me. Now, I actually like the moments of the movie that are a bit more stripped down, that are less the musical vibes. I honestly think this could have survived without being a musical out of it. Like, honestly, take all the songs out of this movie and you could have had a stronger film that would have been more hard-hitting. I would have felt the emotional journey that I felt from Wonka meeting a young orphan and, you know, trying to make his mom proud. All of that stuff would have worked a little bit better if I wasn't distracted by pretty cheesy, not great musical numbers. Just like I'm in the minority of not liking this movie, I seem to be in the minority of people who think Timothee Chalamet was built for this role. He is so fun. He is so engaging. He seems like he's like entertaining. Like there's no other words I could really do other than he was the only thing keeping me in. He's like the reverse of a charisma vacuum. He was trying to spread that charisma to everyone else, but people like Olivia Colman and Keegan-Michael, I was like, what are y'all doing here? I just felt like all of the other characters were just in such a cheesy, almost Paddington-like movie, where I was really liking what Timothee was trying to do with the Wonka character. To me, I think he's now ranked the second best Wonka I've seen. Gene Wilder, perfect. Like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, iconic, great role. He gets to murder kids and be a weirdo and have fun. And then Johnny Depp's gonna be third now because, boy, I hate that role. I hate his Wonka so much. Where I think Timothee Chalamet is kind of in the middle of both. He's not as creepy as Johnny Depp's role of it, but he's still a bit weird and still a bit kooky, but he, you know, he still has that charm that Gene Wilder had. That, like, ooh, I can see why you are a businessman. I can see that the showmanship, the very much the magician aspect that was kind of described in this movie, you get that. And I think Timothee does the best that he can. But, like, what's Sally Hawkins doing in this movie? Why is she even casted here? The villains, the guys who own the chocolate place, the only one I can recognize is Matt Lucas. None of them are really interesting villains. I do like the relationship between the younger girl that Wonka meets, and they're kind of building together and, like, trying to get out of the weird, you know, slave working place that they're in because of the hotel. What was all that story? Why did we have to see them break out of the cleaning place below to then be free to make the chocolate? All of that was just so strange. I would have loved to just see Wonka walk around and pick up the weirdos throughout instead of just having them all kind of be stuck down below because of Olivia Colman and her mean man, you know, trick people into working there. All of that, again, the plot of this movie. What is the script? What is this movie? But I think none of those characters were really fleshed out or engaging to me, where I kept being like, I like Wonka, and then anytime he was not on screen, you were screaming for him to come back, because at least he's one of the better singers, he's one of the better performers, and he actually has the story that you care about the most. This may be shocking to some people, especially if you follow this channel, but I've never seen the Paddington movies. Sorry, it's not for me. I should have known that about Wonka, but hey, they sent it to me for a 4-year consideration for the award season, so I'm considering it, I'm looking at it, and it's not for me. But that's what I want to say as an asterisk to my whole review. This is not my kind of movie. It's a family film, and I mean that in the most derogatory way. This movie is attempting to make the moms, the kids, the little babies all happy, and I just feel like it doesn't make any of them happy. I feel like it just loses itself. If this was just a pure kids movie, I would have been a bit more engaged. If it was a kind of more a mature 13-year-old kind of movie, I would have liked that a little bit more. But it just doesn't know what it wants to do. And that's also, I think I saw about the Paddington movies. It never felt like it was for me. I felt like their target demographic was much younger, but then all the positive reviews from critics I never understood. So, you know, critics are real quick to bash something that feels very pandering to kids. And they're like, no, this should be better. Why are we letting things get passes then? Like, I feel like I'll check out the Paddington movies. Paul King seems to be a decent director. I like what he attempted to do here. And as long as I don't have to see Paddington break out into musical numbers, I might like his direction a little bit more there. But I just feel like this movie really just didn't have a voice. And I mean that in the sense of, like, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to make this movie for? What is the audience? Because I feel like I'm being talked down to as an adult, but I feel like little kids are going to be lost on the more serious stuff of this. This movie is just so confused, and I feel like it could have been grounded a little bit more into one avenue and been a better overall experience. Because again, the musical numbers aren't really engaging to the grown-ups, and the plot is a little bit too advanced for the little ones, so I just don't know who this movie's for, what it's trying to achieve. It doesn't feel like a holiday movie. It doesn't give me the warmth like, wow, I really wanted Wonka to make his family so proud. I don't get any of those emotions from it, so I'm just left so numb, so cold to this all. Well, everyone, that is it for my review of Wonka. I did not enjoy this movie. I appreciate the what the hell quality to it. They threw a lot of stuff at the screen, hoped it worked. Hugh Grant's trying to do his Oompa Loompa best, doing his Oompa Loompa worst. But Timothée Chalamet, my boy, I'm so happy that I've grown to like you as an actor because I find you to be one of the best parts of this movie. What did you guys think of Wonka? What do you guys think of this review? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to Flickering Myth for more videos just like this. And let's talk about Wonka right down below.